This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, I've been told I've got 14 minutes with you, so I'm going to enjoy this. A feisty press conference there, ending with a push from Dillian Whyte towards Dmitry Salita. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, I think that Team Franklin were deliberately trying to provoke Dillian Whyte. I think they got there in the end, you know, the trainer particularly. And it was just in a head-to-head. I think Dmitry said something like, "Tell him, Jermaine, look at him." And Dillian just bit and leant forward and said, "Shut up." And then Dmitry said, "Let's have it, let's go now." I was like, wow, you're brave. And yeah, it just kicked off a little bit, but it's good. You know, I think we need that from Dillian Whyte. We need that kind of tenacity. And Jermaine Franklin looks pretty cool and composed. I think we're going to get a great fight on Saturday.
We haven't seen this from Dillian for a while, Eddie. What do you think's brought that side back out of him?
We need it. This is what makes him so dangerous. And I think what brought it out of him was Jesse Addison. You know, and Dmitry Salita, they wound him up, and I think it's a good thing for Dillian Whyte. I think he's got that edge about him now, and I think it's going to lead us to a great fight.
The Wardley Gorman fight is one which has got everybody talking, and it's a split opinion. Nathan, surprised by the odds heading into it with your thought?
3-1 outside. I see it as a 50-50 fight. I think Nathan's a very good heavyweight. He has the amateur pedigree that Fabio doesn't, but Fabio's very sharp, very confident. I think it's a brilliant fight. You know, could headline any card, and it's a brilliant co-main event.
Sandy Ryan steps up once again, Eddie against Andi Sanchez. If she's successful, is a world title fight within reach next year?
Yeah, I don't think there's many other fights. You know, Fury-Whyte and Sanchez are like two fights that you have before a world title. They're former world champions. So the difficulty is if she comes through in style, then, you know, I expect her to be ready to fight for a world title. Definitely fight for a world title in 2023. And she's had a remarkable comeback since the Fury-Whyte defeat.
There was obviously a number of other fights to touch on, but we have to move forwards because I've got limited time with you. Speaking to Dmitry Salita yesterday, he looked at the potential Anthony-Joshua fight for Okolie. He said to me, a deal's close on behalf of them. And then once Saturday's out of the way, you've got to speak to the Whyte-Franklin winner and then maybe look at what a deal could look like with whoever that would be. Is that the case where is a deal kind of close?
The deal's close, but I would say Joshua-Wallin's on the list. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a very credible fight, but we're considering a number of options. Part of that is the instruction of the training team that will be implemented. So nothing decided yet, but definitely in the next 2 weeks, we'll be looking to confirm the date and the opponent. And obviously Saturday night, very important to that mix.
According to Dmitry, it's very much so between Otto and then the winner on Saturday night. Is that the case, or is anyone else?
I mean, they're definitely both in the mix, but there is other options for us, but we'll see what happens.
Jermaine has said there is a 7-figure offer on the table from yourself in interviews. Is that the case? If he comes through Saturday?
Oh, if he wins, he'll fight Anthony-Joshua and he'll make over 7 figures, yeah. But there's nothing in a contract for that. But he would definitely be the favourite to move forward and fight AJ if he was to beat Dillian Whyte at the weekend.
I also want to get your thoughts on the YouTuber side to boxing. There's been a lot of shows recently which have come in for criticism from Boxing Quarters as a partner with DAZN who have shown some of those shows. What have been your take on it?
Well, I haven't shown some of those shows. I mean, DAZN have shown some of those shows. I think they're doing fantastic numbers. I think there's definitely a market for those shows. I think some of the fights have been pretty good and entertaining. I like the Hasim Rahman fight. Some have been absolutely awful and terrible to watch, but it's entertainment. It's not really boxing. You know, DAZN is a fantastic platform for hardcore fight fans, but also from a social media YouTube stance as well. They're covering that base. Again, we know the numbers that it delivers. It's adding huge number of subscribers to DAZN, but at the same time, my focus is on real boxing, elite boxing. Great card on Saturday. Estrada Chocolatito next week. Josh Warrington in a huge night in Leeds, and move forward to a big schedule in 2023.
Previously, Eddie, it's been spoken about how you're hopeful of that audience transferring over to the hardcore shows. Do you have any indication as to how many people who watch the YouTubers do watch your shows?
I mean, they have that science. I mean, what you're seeing is obviously subscriber numbers growing considerably, but also audience is growing considerably for all fights. So, in essence, it's good news that, you know, the subscribers that have been added through YouTube boxing will increase the audience numbers for Dillian Whyte on Saturday and so forth. So different sides of the sport, but we remain focused on the elite side.
To quickly throw at you, the WBA officially ordering Leo Santa Cruz and Leigh Wood yesterday. Is that the most likely one now? Or do you think Leo?
It's been ordered for a while, but you know, we were both having interim fights. Leigh Wood got injured. I don't agree with the split, which is 75-25, but we need to get moving with Leigh Wood. He's going to fight in January. We're speaking to PBC, etc., and we'll make a decision on Leigh Wood's next fight. I'm up for the Santa Cruz fight. I really am. Maurizio Lara rematch. Kiko Martinez. Leigh Wood will be back out in January.
Final one, just your thoughts on Lawrence Okolie. What's the latest with him? Simply because obviously I've seen a lot going on about where he stands promotionally. Ben Shalom suggesting he's a free agent. You yesterday saying saying that is not the case?
He's definitely not a free agent. He has one fight left on his contract. If we have to let the courts decide that, so forth, Lawrence Okolie could come and see me and we'll probably resolve it. But at the same time, I'm not making that investment financially, mentally, physically, not doing the job that we've done for Lawrence Okolie, not kept to every single word we've ever promised him, to be disrespected. And that's via social media, and that's by someone trying to leave a contract that is still in force. So we'll do what we can to protect that. I've no problem with Lawrence Okolie, but that's our position.
Eddie, thank you.
Cheers.